Hey y'all, today we're going to work on a Zebco, one of the newer versions or later versions, 202 Spincast reel. Should be a fairly straightforward and quick video. Along the way I'm going to show you a couple things, tips and tricks, or just tips in general of what can kind of happen or go wrong with this reel and how to remedy that. So let's just get started. I'm going to pop this down just so I can loosen this up. As you can see, it's still a new reel, or has not been used. And now I'm going to unscrew this cap. It just goes lefty-loosey, just like so. Let's get a little more line out. Just do it this way instead. Alright, so now I'm just going to pull this out, leave this alone. There's nothing to do here except popping that piece out, which we're not going to do. And there's a couple other things on here that I'm going to try to do them, but if I can't do it, I'll tell you, you know how it goes. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Anyway, so we're going to loosen this nut first before we remove the handle part. To do that, you can use a adjustable wrench, or you can use your screwdriver because it's slotted up here. And what just popped down was the little trigger with the pinion on it. Let me show you a couple things in here. There's this little click. The little click piece there is what holds it in place when you push this thumb bar up. But there's nothing we're going to do here besides cleaning it and adding some oil to it. Now we can pop that E-clip off. I'll show you where this came in a sec, or where that came from. Pop that E-clip off. We're going to take a flathead screwdriver, just kind of twist, kind of protect it so it doesn't go shooting anywhere. And now that's released, so we can remove that and then pull this stack out. There we go. I'm going to leave the line on. So the way this sits is simply with this serrated end facing down towards this piece right here. So that just gets set to the side. And I'll show you that when we're putting it back together. That's the anti-reverse dog. To remove this, we're going to undo this nut here. And one of the things that can happen with this reel is that if it lays up over time, or for any extended period of time, the grease can get dry, and what happens is it just kind of sticks. This gets locked in place and you can't turn this handle. Also, what can happen is that this piece can have the same thing happen to it. You're supposed to be able to push this and that goes down like that, but sometimes it's just stuck and it doesn't move at all, so you can't press this part to push it up to disengage the connection so you can do a cast on it. Alright, so let's pull this out, and I think that's all we can do. This piece here, I've gotten it out before, but it's not that easy to do. In theory, what you're supposed to do is squeeze those two prongs together, and we're going to try it and see what happens, and then push up on this to get it off. And at that point, we're just going to leave it alone. That's it. Once, if you can remove this plastic piece right here, you can take that metal piece up. That's the drag lever that pushes against this piece right here, this serrated edge right here, to make the drag stronger or looser, depending on how you're turning this knob. That's it. Alright, so I'm going to clean it up, try to put it back together, and that is it. Pretty quick and easy. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is add some oil to this, just kind of around there, and kind of work that in a little bit. Then stick a little bit of grease, just kind of right there and there. Take some oil, stick it inside this handle knob, kind of just work that in. And that should be good enough. I'm going to add a little bit of grease inside here. You don't need to add anything around these areas. You certainly can if you want, but I don't think you're going to fish in the saltwater with this stuff, so I think you'll be fine. I think that's it for this. And there's nothing you need to do really here. There's not a whole lot you can do for this, so you kind of leave it alone the way it is. We can grease these gears up, certainly. And this is not a speed demon, so you can put as little or as much on this gear, on these gears as you want, and be fine. Nothing around here, but I am going to grease this shaft right here. And for the this gear here, I'm going to push this down like this first, add some oil right there, kind of let that rotate around. I'm going to work that in a little bit, kind of like that. Now you can grease right around this portion here. The threads up here, and obviously the teeth on the gear. And you can certainly grease that area where the spring is. So you can put a little bit of grease there just so it stays pretty fluid. And is there anything else that we need to do here? I don't think so. And now we can put all these pieces back together. The first thing I'm going to start with would be this piece right here. The way that's going to sit is looking just like that, with that higher end kind of up in the air over here. So looking like that. Drop our main gear in there. Double check it to make sure it works, and it does, which is always a plus. Take this piece, stick it in like that. Sometimes it goes all the way in right away. If it doesn't, just leave that in place and kind of rotate this gear to get it to drop in place, because it's just not lined up yet, that's all. Now I'm going to hold on to it. Take this piece. Remember, you have that serrated end or portion going face down. So it'll be looking like this. One thing to note is when you get to here, sometimes that dog will get in the way and stop it from going all the way down. So you want to kind of lift that up as you push down, and now that's secure. Now we can take our E-clip, put that on there, and just clip it in place. And this thing, the only reason I say that part is because what happens is, if it's not set properly, you won't be able to get this seat properly in this housing here. So when we get here, just go ahead and put this inside first, then we'll work on the rest in a sec. So just drop that in place. Make sure it's flush and it's not rocking back and forth, which this one is not. So now everything's set there and we are good to go with that portion of it. I'm going to kind of hold this down so it doesn't really go anywhere. And now I'm going to work on this top piece. So now we get to this piece, and what you notice here is that this little clicker, little piece right here, will get in the way of getting over this cylinder. So you can take it this way, push at an angle to get that pushed out of the way, and then rotate as you push down. That's one way to do it. If you have the dexterity, you can also, or just move this out of the way, you can hold down on this, push the thumb release bar that's on the bottom right here. That pushes or raises that pinion up, and then you can push this over it. So I'm going to do that, rotate it until I find the slot it's supposed to be in, right there, and I'm just going to screw that down. I'm using my screwdriver to start, and now I'm going to use this. And we're not going to do too tight yet because now it's in a raised up position. I'm going to hold on to this black supporting piece, rotate this so it drops in place, make sure it's not wobbling too much, and it isn't. And now I'm going to tighten this down. Not easy to do, but we got it. Alright, so the final piece is just to put the cover back on. And we're not going to really test this reel out. We're going to do a couple things, but not a whole lot. pulling that out so it doesn't get caught when I drop this in place. Snug is good. And we're going to test this out by just checking this part. The release works. That's good. That works. Let's go ahead and tighten this up for the handle. And when I do that, guys, if you found the video useful, please hit that thumbs up button. If you appreciate content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel and also spreading the word about it. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next time.